Hi everyone, I'm here today with Bella Takiari-Brame. She's a professional director and currently the acting CEO for Maniapoto. Bella, if you could just explain a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Tēnā koutou, ko Bella Takiari-Brame tōku ingoa. Thank you, Candra, for your lovely introduction. And what I do as a professional director, I sit on a few boards, some of them nationally, some of them locally, some of them for my iwi. It's more sitting at governance level and thinking more from a strategic perspective, of course. And then operationally, I'm currently acting Chief Executive for Maniapoto Maori Trust Board. We have a beneficiary base of about 35,000, current net asset base of about 40 million. So a bit of work to do, but I guess that's where I find a good balance between working strategically and working operationally as well.
Yeah, awesome. And I guess as a result of COVID, you may have been spending more time at home. Have you had to change or adapt or pick up any new skills from working remotely?
Yeah, I think if you were to ask everyone what was your first week of lockdown like, absolute chaos.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, running a team of approximately 30 to 40 people, depending on who's part-time and full-time, suddenly having to oversee them virtually alongside having your kids at home, doing the schoolwork, alongside dad also having to have space to do his work. It was a bit chaotic. But, within the first week, we found our balance, found our rules, found our boundaries. And from there on, it was a little bit of hit and miss on the schoolwork. I'm sure everyone would admit that. But, it was, and I always reflect on this, no university degree that I've done a few, could have prepared me for running an organisation from lockdown.
I can imagine that would be really challenging.
Yeah. But, at the end of the day, the best skill that you could have had was flexibility and adaptability and just thinking, not overthinking it, just going with the flow, really.
So what do you suggest for a new graduate or someone who's looking to enter the workforce, how they can navigate the crisis and getting hired?
I think, and I did reflect on this question a bit overnight, I think either way, when you've got good work ethic, you're going to get a job no matter what it's like. Whether we're in a recession or whether things are booming. If you turn up in time, you're reliable. You say what you're going to say. You do what you say you're going to do. And it's probably described as working at a high level of integrity. And also when you don't understand things, escalating that straight away and asking questions. When I hire someone, I can read that straight away. But I guess that's experience. But anybody that's going to be interviewing our new graduates will definitely be able to read that. And it would also reflect on perhaps the CV that you put forward. I know some students come out of university with a bit of work experience, some don't. But, demonstrate in any way where you have, you're completely reliable and you're a good communicator. I think well-rounded, just demonstrate that you can do this. The other thing is really demonstrate your know-how with technology. That will get you the job, because right now, oldies like me, I'm up for anyone that can show me a new way of doing things. And alongside that, I think it is important to be clear on the why. No matter what, you turn up to an interview, you be clear on why you want this job. If you don't want the job, it's the person interviewing is going to see that straight away. If you're hit and miss, or I don't know, I'm thinking about doing something else, or I've got another interview somewhere else, that's fine. But just, fake it till you make it is probably the motto here. You want the job, you are clear on the why, and you're clear on, why this organisation and what it's going to do for you and what you're going to do for the organisation. So, be well prepared with that frame of mind. Be prepared to do anything. It will be a hard slog for the first 2 and 3 years. Just a little warning, it's not going to be all office job, desk job, sitting pretty. You just need to be prepared to do the hard stuff.
Yeah, that's really good advice. And I think particularly at the moment, because the job market is quite tight, students that are coming out of university are probably going to have to look for those sorts of roles to get into the workforce. So that makes complete sense.
Yeah. And I mean, that demonstrates your work ethic as well. When I see a CV and I'm like, oh, wow, I won't name jobs, but you go, oh, well, you stuck to that. And I know that can be quite a hard thing to do, especially when you're so well educated. But that just shows me, you've got tenacity, you're consistent, you're determined, all of those great qualities you need in your graduate.
Yeah, that's cool. Are there any additional avenues you think graduates should be looking to try and utilise to get noticed?
Don't underestimate the well-rounded experience, even voluntary.
Yep.
I think that is key. I'm already encouraging my children just to go and do anything to help others. The whole well-being focus, the whole sustainability focus is the way the world's heading. If you can demonstrate that, you're passionate around the environment and, you've gone and planted trees, that would really step out, especially in the work I'm in with the iwi at the moment. If culturally you can demonstrate that you can speak different languages. When I was in London, I hired people, most CVs had people who could speak 4 languages.
Wow.
Yeah. And, everyone was multilingual. I know in New Zealand that's a hit and miss, but everyone, So, be open to learning other languages. Not, New Zealand has Maori, Pacific Island, and English. Be open to other things. Worldly experience, being more worldly does appeal to me personally, given I've spent a bit of time globally. But I think that just won't hurt at all. Of course, as graduates, I hadn't travelled the world. But when I say worldly, be open to knowing things around what's happening around the world.
Yeah. And just, I guess, the empathy around different cultures as well.
Yeah,
very important. Yeah.
Absolutely. So being what I call environmentally, culturally, all those, I guess there's all these well-being factors that you need to be conscious of. Knowing the struggles of demographics is probably important too. And that's, the kind of benefits you can get out of volunteering. I sit on a homeless shelter as a trustee. I've only just started there this year. I've learnt so much. Around the struggles that some of the people in our community have. And, it's those kind of experience that just make you more well-rounded.
Yeah. So I guess those would be the sorts of characteristics you look for, that make students stand out.
Absolutely.
That's cool. What would your top 3 tips be to a graduate who's looking to be interviewed post-COVID?
Yeah, I mean, I will still emphasise the why. Know the why. Know the why you're there, why you want to do what you want to do, and know why this organisation suits you. And again, I'd say if you're just trying to find a job, just fake it till you make it. It's probably the first thing. Technology, definitely highlight your knowledge of technology. It is the way the world is, and I don't think it's going to change back in any way soon. And it doesn't hurt to come to an interview with new ideas, innovative thinking. Depending on what the job is, of course, you've got to use your intuition, but it doesn't hurt to sort of talk to 2 or 3 people that you see as mentors around, what this is a job I want. How do you think I should prepare for it? Your mentors should know what types of questions you will be asked, so be prepared with those types of questions. Every interview, and I'm still going to interviews, and I'm still really nervous. But the thing that I've found that's really, really helped me is know the questions that are going to be asked and know how to ask them. And it's always the why. What experience do you have? Tell us about how would you, usually it's around working with a difficult person. What's your teamwork like? Are you collaborative? Teamwork, collaboration is key going forward through this COVID crisis.
That's cool. So in what ways has your workplace and employees had to operate differently? I mean, obviously it's hard to have that kind of collaboration not being in the office, but there must be ways you've tried to combat that.
Yeah, well, given we are Maori, we have daily karakia every morning, so that's always 9 a.m. So it has many benefits. One, we come together and we start our day on a positive note. And this also, it allows me as the CE to check in on everyone. I can see their faces. I can see how if they don't turn up, it will be where is such and such. So, there's these daily wellbeing checks as well alongside that. And at the same time, it just allows us to come together, think about what our day entails, and get on with our day. Because, that's one thing working virtually, you do not have human interaction apart from your own family. And that kind of daily get-together has enabled us to be a bit human, see other humans. And, usually we have a bit of a gossip, see what everyone has been up to. So, that has been that's been amazing in terms of coming together. Also, all staff meetings I instigated every 2 weeks at least. We would come together. I think about, updating everyone on, what alert levels we are at, what that means, whether there's going to be any changes going forward. So that was something that, we came together. But also I always found it really effective to ask a question like, how are you coping? What's one thing that you'll tell everyone that's really worked for you? And so that was one question I asked everyone, and everyone would go around the table, around the screen, and answer that question. I found immediately, by the way that the person answered the question, whether I had a wellbeing issue.
Yeah.
So health and safety, with all organisations has been key throughout this. So I found those forums absolutely essential. And of course you had to delegate to the managers to always check in with their people. Working in isolation, most had their families, some didn't. Some were by themselves. And, it was just making sure daily that they were okay. Yeah. At the same time, a great initiative that we stood up, when I say stood up, in the first week of lockdown, we just created, and it wasn't what we usually do, is provide food packs.
Wow.
Community, alongside what we called a call centre. So we were calling people in our tribal database to see if they were okay, and we started with our kaumatua, or our over 55s, and we also were able to identify there whether we had wellbeing issues of our people, and we're able to escalate if required to the various essential services that were around. And also, finding volunteers to go and deliver the food. It was quite hectic the first 2 weeks. Doing something that we don't usually do, but it just felt natural to do it.
Yeah.
So, by the end of alert 3 level, we had delivered over 1,000 food packs across the community.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and we've called over 1,000 people, so we've been able to get a good sense of where our community is at. It's been a strong strategic move on our behalf, because I guess we've got information that a lot of organisations never had before, even other government agencies, from a wellbeing perspective. It's not information that we can use, but we know intuitively where there might be vulnerabilities in our community, and we can help them accordingly.
Yeah, for sure. That's amazing to start up a new kind of activity in a global pandemic.
Yeah, and virtually.
Yeah, virtually. Yeah.
So this office, is running a whole COVID response for thousands of people. So, yeah,
that's wonderful.
And alongside that, we were with the DHB here, running mobile units for flu vaccinations and CBAC testing through to the remote areas, and the uptake was amazing. So now, in terms of flu vaccinations compared to history, we've got the highest number of uptake from Maori.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well done. That's just so inspiring. I love hearing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very fulfilling for me personally. When you know that you're helping others and making a difference. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. That's just actually made my day. Thanks for that.
And all iwi have done that. It's a real strength. And alongside, and I think one thing that's been key is collaboration.
Yeah.
And working with other networks. As iwi here in the Waikato, of course, we've got this natural affiliation as all iwi that have come from Tainui Waka, or the canoe that's come from Hawaii way back in potentially 1200, 1300 AD. But that alignment, that genealogy, that's whakapapa we call it, all those iwi that have come from Tainui Waka, we call them, have come together, and that unity is stronger than ever.
Yeah.
So, we worked closely with Ngāti Raukawa, with Waikato Tainui, and our Hauraki tribes. So that covered an extensive area of this community, and we duplicated those services. So hence it was we were able to be more effective.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you've done quite specific networking during the pandemic. Have you found it's changed much because of that, or is it similar?
Oh, I guess it's a collaboration that never existed before.
Oh, wow.
Yes, on the iwi side, but working with civil defence and councils, that's stronger than ever. And then, of course, the government agencies. And I guess there's a real appreciation for the strengths we all have. And, when it's a health response as opposed to economic response, I think we're all in this together. Lives are at stake, I think. Economic sense, we're heading into that now. Things we might have we've got a bit of work to do on the collaboration.
Probably change a little bit the focus.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I guess that's everything I had prepared, but is there anything you want to tell our graduates? We've got a lot of students, I guess, looking to finish their studies this year and looking to move into the workforce.
Yeah, I reflect back when I was a graduate, and I was very naive around what was coming. I sit here now, 30 years later, and I can reflect back and think, okay, what pearls of wisdom can I pass down to our graduates? Be open-minded, be agile, be flexible, and just to repeat myself, be prepared to do anything.
Well, thank you so much for your time this morning. It's been lovely to meet you. I definitely have learnt a lot from you myself, and I'm sure that our students really appreciate the advice you've got for them. I wish you all the best, and hopefully we cross paths in person someday.
Yes, thank you. And yes, it would be lovely to meet you all in person. And I've really enjoyed this, so thank you.